eRacing Grand Prix. Des Cork alongside Alex Young for the silver edition. We are in round 3 of 5 for the season. Coming up in a short while, we've got the gold class. So let's just remind you a little bit what the gold class did last week at Hockenheim. We will be underway for the first of 2 races. 15 minutes worth. Naqib Aslan in the blue is off to a solid start. And behind him, Naqib. Oh gosh, Naqib could not want for a better start than that, Amo Hazik. That is textbook. Ayman Hazik behind him. Now, is he going to have a go here? The DRS is on and he's going for the lead. He's going for glory. And are you recommending that as a course of action, Amo?
Well, in this case, because compared to Red Bull Ring, which was short, the Hockenheim Ring is just slightly longer, so getting into the lead this early might actually be beneficial. And the fact that he's trying to pull a gap away from Tasbi further behind, so Amazi is trying to make a beeline for it with Naqib. So if they both can work together to get away from Tasbi, the better. Naqib just took the lead back from Ayman Hazik, and now Ayman Hazik, without the DRS, he's going to get swamped by the field here.
He certainly is, because Inigo Anton's trying to go around the outside of Ayman Hazik as well.
Inigo, yeah, there we go. They're side by side coming out to the Mercedes-Benz arena. Inigo Anton has to pull out of it because he has no DRS. He can't fight back. And Tasbi somehow manages to hold on to second because he was on the inside line. Amazi has to go around the outside. So tire management will come into the fore here because it's at this worst setting. ×4, you're going to have to you're shredding through tires like through a 50-minute race is equivalent to running through 1 hour of the race.
So you call it worst, I call it at the absolute best, please, because it means the drivers are going to be driving on blocks of ice by the time we reach the final minute or so. And that makes life very interesting. Look at that. Ayman Hazik has gone into the pits. Is that a tyre change? Surely not.
Yes, it is. It is.
Just put in a 138.0. As you say, the best lapper in the 136.2s. If you're in the 138s, they're conserving tyre wear ammo. Would that be a correct supposition?
No.
Mistake from Anton. It allows Tasbi back through. And there is Naqib Aslan. And this has been an excellent performance, but we are on tenterhooks for him, no doubt. He is monitoring his tyre wear. He's just nursing the engine home, nursing the tyres home. He's got a nice healthy lead. Even if he had a puncture, you suspect that he'd be able to glide home. 2.5 seconds clear. Naqib Aslan will be the new championship leader. Naqib takes the maximum 25 points and goes to the top of the leaderboard. Will be Mohammed Khalif, Paul Faustino, Tadashi on P3, Ayman Hazik P4, James Russell 5. We are underway, and look at that. Tadashi has got off to a thunderous start, and Tadashi's taken James Russell with him. Tadashi into the first corner. Wow, there is the benefit of a poor race 1. It means you can get off to a flyer, Amo Hazik, in race 2.
And of course, he also had the benefit of knowing how to use the launch control and perfect clutch control to get off the line. Look at that. 7/10 up coming through turn 4 already.
Ayman Hazik moves up into P2. Welcome back, Ayman. We did miss you last week, fella.
Yeah, now it's a Blue Steel Racing 1-2. That would be great for the team's championship.
Naqib Aslan just posted a 136.5. It's not the fastest lap. His previous lap was a 136.0, which I think is the fastest lap at the moment. That's the battle for P5. He's got Perwin and Inigo Anton has joined that. Harris Zefi has dropped the right way down. Naqib now under pressure. Ayman Hazik goes on the inside. Who's that? Oh, Nabil.
Nearly took out his brother in the process while trying to overtake.
We've seen that before. 3:31 to go. They're lapping at 1:30. 3 laps remaining. There are 3 laps remaining. So, has Naqib put too much into this? Does he trust his tyres? As he goes on the inside, Naqib is our new race leader, Amo Hazik.
Oh, hang on. Ayman's hanging around the outside. Oh, he got pushed there a bit by Naqib. Naqib was a bit hard on Ayman there. He knew full well that he was already outside. They were running side by side. So Ayman might not appreciate that one bit. But I think, suffice to say, that's actually quite hard but fair racing. And Naqib takes the lead there.
A bit of a shock that Ayman Hakim has lost that lead, because he has got the ability to dominate races from the front. On this time, he's just been drawn in by the racing competing behind him. Tasbi is the new race leader. To the right of your screen, there is Tasby in P1. In the yellow, he's timed that one nicely. Oh, come on, these last 2 laps.
Oh, you're going to be excited for this one, Des. This is the type of racing we come to see. 2.5 minutes left to go, and the front 6 are all within earshot. Any one of these guys could win if something dramatic were to happen to each other. So, right now, look at that. Cool and calm is Tasby, unlike his profile picture where he's smiling for Team Flash. In E1, he knows full well the job's not done yet. He might have taken the lead by virtue of Nakib making that mistake, but Nakib may actually make that mistake as his blessing because he has the comfort of DRS for the next lap.
2 laps to go, 2 laps to go, all on dodgy tyres as well. All we need is a bit of rain. Come on, race room, give us rain.
Well, that will be some update, maybe in the near future, but we'll just keep our fingers crossed with that one as Nakib goes onto the inside without DRS. That might be bad for Tasby. If he loses the lead now, Nakib can just streak away. Nakib is around the outside, Tasby on the inside. Tasby doesn't do the same thing that Nakib does and hold it. And unfortunately for Tasby, Nakib is going to blast for around the outside. And look at that, Ayman Hakim as well on the inside through the parabolica, coming out to the hairpin. Tasby there loses 2 positions by virtue of having no DRS.
Okay then, Ayman Hakim's come round the outside and maybe holds the inside. You've then got this long straight down to 7 and onto the Mercedes. The Mercedes right-hander, Nakib and Ayman Tadashi and Inigo Anton. Oh, Tadashi! Did he? Was he pushed out? Nakib was just so strong. Nakib and Tadashi on the inside. What a thrilling battle.
Wow, wait. He really had to be honest there. He just closed the door hard on Ayman. But I think that's quite fair because he already defended and committed to his line. Now that might pay off. Nakib will actually hold on to the win by sheer luck.
Well, Nakib is there and we are on board with Nakib Aslan as they come into the final straight. A double for Nakib Aslan under the most immense pressure from Tadashi and Tasby and Perwin and Anton. And James Russell has got himself up into P6.
Oh, really? Lost for words. That was one heck of a fight in the end there, but oh my god. Thankfully I managed to hold it in the end.
I love to see the reaction there. Nakib Aslan was genuinely thrilled to win a very competitive race. Good racing in the Gold Edition, Alex.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was good to see. I mean, it was good for him, really, to get a double win. Remember, he still hasn't won a Gold Championship yet. He's finished runner-up in every single Global Edition we've had. So, good for him. But I was just impressed with the racing. Or, as usual, last lap overtakes. It was really good fun to watch. Okay,
so the Gold class is coming up very shortly. Our focus will move to the Silver class. But there are 4 classes. Let's just have a look who the championship leaders are in all 4 classes. We mentioned Nakib Aslan as leading the way in the Gold class. Nur Shazliezhan is the man in pole position as we come into round 3 of 5. The Singaporean will be one of the favourites today. Bernard Chan had his lead clipped earlier on today, and in the Copper class, Kelvin Pau from Malaysia is leading the way. In the Silver Championship standings, Nur Shazliezhan leads Ng Jun Cheng by 20 points. He's another 11 points. My sums are wrong. 11 points clear of Ryan Keith. James Russell had a very good week last week. He's in P4, but we're not sure if he's driving today. Darren in P5. Bernard Chan P6. Mark Volter Elman, the best of the rest. He's had 1 win so far this season. He'll be looking for win number 2. In the Nations Cup, Malaysia leading the way ahead of Singapore and the Philippines and Australia. It's a volume for Malaysia. They are doing well in all 4 classes. Sri Lanka amounting to 41 points. Hong Kong, Macau, New Zealand and Japan have all accumulated points. That's the Nations Cup. And the Teams Cup sees Stratos Motorsports leading the way with 165 points. This is over the 4 categories that we have. Tedco X Project Mu Racing 137. Sim Racing Filipinas, the best from the Filipinas. Congratulations to all 10. Black Arch Racing and Team Uncle completing the top 10. So let's get our focus onto the Silver Edition. I'm on board with Nur Shazliezhan. We might have... No, we won't have time for a flying lap, I don't think, will we, Alex? So
we can squeeze it in.
Okay, all right, let's have a look round Watkins Glen. It is a very different track to Hockenheim last week. It's very flowing. We're on board with Ayman Hakim Tadashi.
Without further ado, here we go. Coming up to the last 2 corners on the track. And you can see here, you want to bring as much speed as possible down to the long straight here. Crucial to start a lap here, get as close to possible to the wall. And you want to start a lap here as far left as possible to get a good exit into turn 1. Braking before the board. Third gear. Get a good exit over there. Get wide as possible, but not too wide. This is not IndyCar or NASCAR. This is ERGP. You're gonna get penalty or incident point. And coming up to the uphill section here, flat out 6th gear, and this is where section where French Formula 1 driver Francis Silva passed away. Rest in peace. This is the long straight. You can plan your overtake is all over here. Down to the right, to the left, again to the left, and to the right again. Down to the parabolica, right parabolica section here. Very tricky to get it right here. As we come in now to the unique section, what we call as the boots. If you look at the map and the track, it looks shaped like a boot, so this is what we're going to call it. That's the toe. And coming up to the uphill section here, third gear, get a very late apex as possible, get your throttle down right early. And this is also ahead of us is the hill, which is also the hardest braking point aside from turn 1. Here we go, third gear. Oh, a little bit of bad exit over there. Do want that in the race. Third gear to a hairpin section here right now. So you come in third gear, fourth gear, down into the last 2 sections again. You want some throttle a little bit. Don't go too wide, you will invalidate your lap. It's again coming here to the last section here, close to the Monster Energy board. That's your reference, and I like Monster Energy, so I'll put it as well. And there you go, a lap of me in Watkins Glen.
Very good lap it was as well. We'll see Tadashi later on in the Gold Championship. We're on board with Nur Shazliezhan. Qualifying has started. There's about 4 minutes remaining. Nur Shazliezhan, the man to beat, Alex?
Oh, definitely. I think he is the championship leader. Oh, he's gone purple in Sector 1. If you look at the very bottom of your screen as he goes through the inner loop. Very fast chicane there. And now, yes, looking very good. Now he's going through the outer loop. This very long right-hander. Seems to go on forever. But it looks like he's carrying the speed. You know, it's very important these long corners to carry the speed. He's run wide for turn 6, but he didn't get down to the apex, interestingly enough. So I think that's going to cost him a little bit of time. Now for turn 7, they call this the toe of the boot. And again, he's going for that super late apex. But again, I think he just turned in a little bit late there. I don't know if that's going to cost him time. Now up the rise as they head onto the turn 8, which is called the heel of the boot. And this right-hander here gets a good exit out here. That looks just about right. Uses all the curb and a bit more. Then on penultimate corner of the track, this is turn 9, and coming to the end of sector 2. It should be coming across the line any now. This will be purple again as well, because I think he's one of the first cars on track. But it's a good sector that. And penultimate corner, turn 10, now turn 11, the last corner on the track. Carries the speed, uses all the exit, and nicely done. This should be comfortably enough for pole position at the moment. Well, not comfortably enough, shall we say. Oh, purple in sector 3. He's not P1. That's gone to Jun Cheng.
Wow, that's very interesting. He's P3 at the moment. Jun Cheng is there, and there's a fast lap also being put in by Mohammed Zihni. Zihni a 142.2. Nur Shazliezhan down in P5 at the moment. So this is a young Singaporean Zihni. Good lap from him, and he's about to get on going for a second lap as well.
Yeah, so Zihni actually... I really like this guy. He's 17 years old, and he's only not been doing sim racing that long, but he's really improved very quickly. He's been winning races in bronze and copper before, and now here he is in the silver class. And yeah, it'd be fantastic if he could snatch pole position today.
Well, he's on the starter of a lap. Should we stick with him, Alex, or would you like to see if the likes of Justin Hung from Hong Kong or even the Mark Voltaire Elman from Philippines are posting kind of laps? Although Zihni's looking good. Fastest again. Is he through sector 1?
Oh, we're not getting a sector 1 time. No, he's a little bit down actually. Why don't we go on board with Jun Cheng at the moment? Because I think he has gone purple. Yes, he has. Look at that, sector 1 purple. So Jun Cheng there. I think he's second in the championship, isn't he?
He is indeed second in the standings.
Yeah, he's much better through the left-handedness there than Nur Shazliezhan was just now. So Shazliezhan was a bit sloppy in that middle sector. And Jun Cheng getting down to those apexes a bit better. So here he is coming through up into the heel of the boot right now. I love the names on this track. Turn 8, shall we say. Goes downhill a bit. Then he goes sharply uphill again. towards turn 9. He's looking good. He's looking like he's carrying the speed. Be nice to ride on board with him a bit. Let's go to a cockpit view. Ooh, gets sided. Big moment there. Oh wow, he's blown his chance of taking pole position, I feel. He was only a 10th off after sector 2, but that big sideways moment would have cost him a lot of time out of that corner. And he's going to go across the line, and I'll be shocked if this goes pole. I don't think this will be any quicker. No, it isn't. He loses a good 5/10 in that third sector.
But he still holds on to P2. Mohamed Zihni still on P1. The Filipino boys are struggling a little bit. This is Zihni. Yeah, he's on P1. 141.8, and it looks like Zihni is going to be going on to pole position. Mercedes 1 through 8. It certainly seems to be the vehicle to be driving at Watkins Glen. Mohammed Khalif in P8, the best of the BMWs, Alex Cheer, and then Mark Walter Elman in P10 with Gav Kintos in P11. Bernard Chan down in P12. He's 6th in the championship standings, but great performance by Zihni, his best qualification of the season.
Wow, what a pole position for Mohamed Zihni. That's a really good job. Nur Shazliezhan didn't manage to complete his lap. We just saw him spinning off in the background. So, yeah, that's going to be tough for him. But it's good to see Zihni with a nice pole position.
So Nur Shazliezhan will be starting in P5. Ung Jun Cheng, second in the standings, will be starting on the front row of the grid alongside Zihni. So 1 or 2 little changes. It's a shortish season, just 5 races or 10 races, 5 rounds. Things can change very quickly, Alex.
Yeah, it can change very quickly. And don't forget, they get to drop 1 round. They have to drop points from 1 round in the first 4. So that will always tighten up the field for the last race. So short season, but still exciting. We are the Watkins Glen International Grand Prix circuit with the inner loop. The inner loop is that fast chicane. They call it the Glen, very well-known track in America with a lot of history.
Just waiting for the countdown, as there is no track map, but the red lights are on. When they go off, we'll be underway. We're on board with Ung Jun Cheng. He's in P2 at the moment. Mohamed Zihni in P1. The lights are off, and it's a good start for Zihni. Zihni has got away to an absolute flyer. Ung Jun Cheng in the black car in P2, struggling to hold off Ryan Keith and Nur Shazliezhan. Shazliezhan got himself up into P4. Good start from him. But Zihni carries on his terrific qualification, Alex, with a flying start.
Yeah, really good lap there. Really good start there. Zihni, he's not won in silver before, so this could be his first chance. He's holding on the gap. See everyone else, big slipstream up to the chicane up here, this inner loop right chicane that they're going to be going through. So be interesting to see how they do.
Mohamed Zihni, he's dragging Ung Jun Cheng alongside with him. Ryan Keith and Nur Shazliezhan are there as well. How about some of the boys? Francis Angelo Gonzalez is quite a way down. He had a double win in the class below. This just shows how difficult it is, but it gets very congested up there. Just a little look at him. Back up to Zihni up at the top. A whole train of cars very early on. No DRS in this first lap. But that means that in the second lap, there's loads of overtaking opportunities, Alex.
Yeah, so Watkins Glen is known as a real driver's track. It's a lot of fun to drive, but it's not that easy to overtake on. However, I feel with the long drag up the back straight and the long drag for down the start-finish straight, we will see a lot of overtaking, because don't forget the DRS will have a big effect with these cars.
On board. Zihni looking backwards onto Ung Jun Cheng, and Jun Cheng feeling the pressure from Ryan Keith, who's very neat and tidy. It's a lead of 7/10 of a second for Zihni at the moment. I see what you mean about this being a flowing track as they come round at the end of lap 1 for the first time, and now we're looking at DRS, and Jun Cheng will have it on Zihni. Ryan Keith and Nur Shazliezhan will also have it, Alex, and Shazliezhan, there's a slight touch there. Nur Shazliezhan's got himself up into P4.
Yeah, so big DRS effects. Obviously the car in the front doesn't have it, but the guys in second, third and fourth, all within a second of each other, have the DRS, although it's really hard to keep it flat. You see the car at a moment there and had to back out of it. So it's hard to be flat in the DRS through the S's, and that's allowing Ryan Keith to get back alongside and get up to P2 ahead of Jun Cheng.
It is. Ryan Keith is alongside Jun Cheng. He's on the inside, but Jun Cheng is fighting that as Ryan Keith goes flying over the curbs. It's very, very competitive for P2, and that is allowing Mohammed Zihni, Alex, to get away just a little bit.
Yeah.
He's nearly 0.8 of a second clear.
That's so true, and you know he's going to, if he can get a couple more tenths, he'll be out of DRS zone. DRS obviously standing for the drag reduction system, where it tilts the rear wing back, so it sheds downforce and drag, so it makes it quicker down the straights. And you're right, he's outside a second now of Jun Cheng, so looking good for Zihni. So the squabbling behind him is certainly helping him.
Well, there is Zihni, focused very much so, and that lead is a second and a half. Wow,
Yeah.
he's been able to pull that. It may well reduce as the lap goes on, but if he can avoid getting involved in the DRS squabble, well, it's very early in the race. You wouldn't call it for him by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a great start for him. And his lead is 1.6 seconds, Alex. What is going on behind? Ryan Keith is in P2, and he's out of DRS range, but Keith himself is then a sitting duck.
Yeah, he's going to be a sitting duck. He's using DRS down the start-finish straight, but that's it. He won't have DRS anymore, and the cars behind him all will, and this is what's going to happen. So he uses all the excess road there to try and get a better exit. Now, can the cars behind use DRS through the S's? This right, left, right now. It's because it's hard to overtake. There's Keith. Oh, Jun Cheng's getting squeezed into the barrier, but he holds on for now, and he's putting a second go of DRS. They're all lining up behind him, and down the inside is Nur Shazliezhan.
Nur Shazliezhan gets himself up into P2 for the very first time. But look how congested it is. He's up in P2, but they're nearly 2 seconds down on Mohammed Zihni. So these guys scrapping away, squabbling away, and it's allowed Zihni to make a break. The battle for P2 is the one of interest at the moment. But if they work together, Alex, they'll be able to haul Mohammed Zihni back into them.
Yeah, so the big question is, will they work together? So Jun Cheng there had a chance to go down the inside of Shazliezhan, but Jun Cheng in the black car decided to stay there. He wants to just follow Shazliezhan over the line so he can have DRS for the next lap to try and close to overtake then. That's tactical thinking by Jun Cheng, and I think it's smart thinking, because if they squabble now, Mohammed Zihni in the lead is going to pull away even further.
Well, it's inside 2 seconds now. It did get up to 2 seconds. Now it's just been pulled back to 1.7, but he'll still be out of DRS range, but is catchable, Mohammed Zihni. That's the fun of DRS, but it's devastating if you make a great start, because you never can get away from the pack.
Yeah, I think we had Shazliezhan coming down the front straight. Oh, he's used up all his DRSs, so he doesn't have it. But Jun Cheng does. Look at that rear wing. Oh no, he's not using it either. They've all used up the DRSs. But Jun Cheng will have it now as he comes out of the first corner. You see the rear wing, there it goes. It tilts back, and he's got the drag. But I'm not sure he can use it through the S's. This right, left bit. See, the car gets a bit shaky there. He's still got the DRS open, and he's going to go around the outside of Shazliezhan.
Cracking little scrap going on there. So Jun Cheng moves back into B2 for the second time. Second in the overall championship. He's had 3 podiums in 4 races so far, and he's looking good for another podium here. What he hasn't had is a race win on Jun Cheng.
Yes, he hasn't, and neither's Mohammed Zihni. But, you know, Jun Cheng's got 2 more uses of DRS now, so if he can just use those 2 DRSs, he might be able to drop Shazliezhan in the pink Mercedes, who's just behind him, and then close the gap to Zihni in the lead.
Well, there is the pink Mercedes of Nur Shazliezhan, the championship lead at the moment. He's got 2 race wins to his name. He's going to have to work hard, though, to get ahead of Jun Cheng and Mohammed Zihni. Zihni's lead has maintained around about that 1.8 seconds. So he's been able to maintain his pace, and maybe we ought just have a look at Mohammed Zihni, Alex, from inside, and you analyse just how he's driving at the moment.
Oh, he's driving very nicely. He'll be thinking, no, he won't be thinking about tyre wear too badly. Tyre wear's ×2 for silver, so the drivers can attack the car pretty hard, and the tyres should still be fine, because it's only a 15-minute race. So he won't be too worried about tyre wear. He'll just be worried about not making mistakes, keeping it nice and clean. Because he wants to make sure the guys don't get within a second. But he doesn't want to push too hard either, because I'm going to take that back. He will be worried a tiny little bit about tyre wear, because he doesn't want to get through him too fast.
Well, he's maintained that 1.8 second lead over Jun Cheng, and Jun Cheng and Shazliezhan are still having that little scrap between them, and as long as they scrap, That's a lovely overhead shot, that one. I do like that one. P4, Justin Hung. We've not really talked about Justin Hung because this battle has been entertaining us so much. But Justin Hung is hanging on there in P4, ahead of Mohammed Khalif, who's just lost his place to Ryan Keith.
Yep, Shazliezhan through the inner loop there. Nicely done, back into P2, and he'll have 2 more goes of DRS. But they're not closing down that gap to Zihni fast enough, I feel.
Ooh, but it is down to 1.4, you know.
Yeah, but he made a small mistake there, running wide, missed the apex. Shazliezhan, I think he might be doing it unintentionally. Some of these corners he does miss the apex by quite a bit. That one looks fine. But look at that, Juncheng's all over the back of him.
That's close. Yeah, that's a battle. And Justin Hung is a further 1.5 seconds down on that. We haven't had the overtaking perhaps we were expecting, certainly not at the front. I'm just really impressed with the consistency of Mohammed Zihni. He's posted times 147, a best lap of 147.0. That can't be right. That's his best recorded lap, so he's been really on the track limits at the moment, Mohammed Zihni. Because his best recorded lap is 147, and he's driving a lot faster than that.
So, yeah, he has to watch track limits, because there is an incident point limits of 40 points. If they go above 40 points, they will get disqualified. Basically, every time you have a track limits issue, you get like 4 points or a couple points. So he has to watch out for that.
So if he suddenly disappears, then you'll understand that it's his own driving that's causing it. There he is right on the limit, using the full curb as much as he possibly can. That lead remains stubbornly around about the 1.7 seconds though, and Nur Shazliezhan has got his nose in front in that battle for P2, Alex, although Juncheng is immediately trying to fight back around the outside as they come up the hill. Juncheng goes back into P2. After you, Claude. No, after you, sir.
As they go really attacking the inner loop there. Yeah, it's really becoming a DRS chess game at the moment, isn't it? I don't think you want to lead the last lap the way it's going at the moment.
Behind them, Mohammed Khalif and Ryan Keith are being able to close in as well. This is the battle for P4. In front of them, those two scrapping, and Zihni maintains that lead of 1.8 seconds. Gone up to actually nearly 2 seconds, Alex. So the Juncheng Shazliezhan scrap is really helping Zihni with 5 minutes only to race.
Yeah, wow. So that scrap is, they're throwing away the chances of going for the race win. I think they fancied the chances of closing the gap to Zihni, but now Zihni's looking really comfortable. Anyway, Juncheng there in the black car, holding on to P2. He will have DRS down the start-finish straight one more time. But yeah, wow, that's a great job Mohammed Zihni's doing. The Singaporean is just pulling away at the front at the moment.
This is first silver category race, isn't it, of the season? I'm pretty sure it is. If it is, a 2-second lead now. DRS is available for, not for Ng Juncheng, but for Nur Shazliezhan. DRS is being used by Ng Juncheng, but Nur Shazliezhan, he's right on the tail. I tell you what, the races in 4, 5 and 6 are closing in on 2 and 3, Alex.
They are. The guys in 2 and 3 have been scrapping too much, and it's now going to become a 5-way fight for the top, for second position, I feel.
Ryan Keith, as always, he's providing entertainment, but he's got pressure from Justin Hung, and that's 3-way across those there. Oh, that's a big scrap as they come round the inner loop, and then they go to the outer loop, the sharp right-hand corner or the parabolica, heading down towards the wonderfully named boot, which is also awkward because of the elevation dips and rises.
Yeah, oof, that's sending it down the inside there. Oh, I'm glad he got out of that because that would have resulted in contact. But yes, big elevation changes here. Wow, so let's see if Ryan Keith can just close down the gap to Shazliezhan in third position in the pink car. It looks like they're closing, but they're really scrapping hard, all these cars.
And ahead of them, those two have another little ding-dong battle with each other. Now it's Nur Shazliezhan into P2, but that's how close it is. So that's Ng Juncheng looking back. That's Nur Shazliezhan looking back. So 2 and 3 there. All the while, look at it. Zihni now 2.5 seconds clear, Alex.
Yeah, Zihni's gone, isn't he? He's definitely gone. 3 minutes to go. He'll be laughing all the way to the bank. He's going to win this race, I think. He'll be very thankful for the guy scrapping behind him. But yes, Shazliezhan back into second position though. But I can't call it right now. It's going to be a 5-way battle for the lead, for second position very soon.
So 2:51 left in the race, just 2 laps left. He's just got to make sure that he doesn't make any mistakes. Mohamed Zihni, it's been he was fastest in qualification. He's led from the very start. He got out nice and quick, and he's really just been able to extend that lead. And this looks like a flag to finish victory for Mohamed Zihni from Singapore.
Yeah, it does. Ooh, Juncheng had to back out of the DRS again. Juncheng can't take DRS through the S's, but Ryan Keefe can. And he's closed right up onto this battle for second position. There we are in the shot. The pink car in second position, the black car's in third. And we're riding on board. Oh, and the blue car goes very wide, Ryan Keefe does. And that's going to cost him time.
And that might actually cost him a position as well, because Mohammed Khalif has snuck down the inside. Ryan Keefe is able, though, to accelerate away from him. But that little mistake shows you how competitive it is. And don't count out Justin Hung from this little battle as well. Tell you what, there are podium places to chase here with 1.5 laps to go. Justin Hung around the outside. So that is number 2 just in our sight as they come up the hill after the heel. But Mohamed Zihni is now just about to enter his final lap.
Ooh, and Hung goes wide, big time. Well, manages to keep it on the track, barely. But well, now he's too far behind, I think. There's only 1 more lap to go. He just could put him out of the fight for second position.
Nur Shazliezhan, that's the battle for P2. The lead is now a race high 2.7 seconds for Mohamed Zihni. You saw him zip through, and Zihni is looking very good. He's on to the final lap. 1 minute remaining, but the average lap time is around about the 1:44 mark. And so long as Mohamed Zihni doesn't do something silly and that he's looked after his tyres, he should be able to skate through to his first victory of the season.
Yeah, I mean, this is this battle for second position. Let's ride on board Ryan Keefe right now. He's got the DRS. He can keep the DRS open through the S's. Juncheng manages to hold on the DRS for this lap, and they're both closing in on Shazliezhan. This is the last lap, don't forget. Juncheng, oh, this has got to be the try. He's going to look up, think about it. Oh, he almost thinks about it, but not able to do it. And who can get the best exit? Oh, Shazliezhan's exit's been compromised. And Ryan Keefe is going to think about going down the inside here, but he's not close enough at the moment.
Nur Shazliezhan is holding on. In front of them, Zihni is miles clear, 3.2 seconds. But look at this battle for P2. Currently, Nur Shazliezhan, championship leader, leads Juncheng from Ryan Keith, from Mohamed Khalif, and Justin Hung isn't out of the equation yet.
Ooh.
But defending for all of his life is Nur Shazliezhan for P2.
And Juncheng's close enough. He's right on the back of him. He's looking down the outside. He's going to go to the outside. Will he go back to the inside? No, he goes to the outside. He's going to try and go around the outside of Shazliezhan. And he doesn't quite do it. Runs wide.
Loses a position to Ryan Keith because he tried so hard. And that could be that as the race leader, Mohamed Zihni, coasts towards what is a comprehensive victory. This is a 3.5 second victory for Mohamed Zihni. We'll just catch him as he comes over the finish line, and then we'll quickly move to the battle for P2. Nur Shazliezhan from Ryan Keith, from Juncheng. Justin Hung picks in P5 ahead of Khalif. Oh, it's very close between them. But our race winner, Alex Young, Mohamed Zihni.
Yeah, great job by Zihni. Zihni, we'll see if we can get him on Zoom. Oh, I love his headphones. They're very colourful. But you can see the relief in his face as he crossed the line. Big sigh. But Zihni, that's a great job. See if you can hear us here. Hi, Zihni. Well, take us through that race. That's your first win in silver.
Coming into the race, I thought I was looking for Shazliezhan, the one to watch, and was a bit nervy at the start, especially with Juncheng behind.
Yeah.
But after lap 3, I calmed down a bit, and yeah. The rest was textbook, I would say.
Yeah, it certainly was. Was that your biggest race of your career so far?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. Okay, so you're going to start P14 now for race 2. Reverse grid. What are your thoughts going into race 2?
I'll try to stay as calm as possible, to be honest. Not make any mistakes and try to finish as far as I can.
Okay, well, good luck for race 2. We'll be watching closely. And again, congratulations.
Mohamed Zihni, the race winner. Tell you what, if he was nervous, Alex, he certainly wasn't showing it, because we were on camera quite a lot with him, and he looked cool as a cucumber, picking up his first silver edition victory. Gav Quintos with a fast lap. Apologies to those further down the grid. We didn't really focus on Mark Voltaire-Elman or Francis Angelo Gonzalez or Gav Quintos, simply because the battle for P2 was so impressive and Zihni was so far away. But look at that, Singapore 1, 2 and 3.
1, 2 and 3. Singapore really coming to the fore there. Some serious talent there as well. I mean, Zihni's only 17. Shazliezhan is also very young as well. So they're going to have long careers. And like Zihni said, this is the biggest win of his career. He's not been doing it that long. I tell you, we've got to keep an eye on this boy. He's going to have a really good future.
Okay, so race 2 is a reverse grid race where the top 14 are reversed, so the race winner starts in 14.
Yeah.
He who came 14th will be up at the top. That means there's some half-decent racers at the very top of the grid. We'll get onto that in just a moment. Bernard Chan will be on pole and Gav Quintos on P2, and Gav has got himself on the podium already this season, so he is worth keeping an eye out on. Okay, we are underway for race number 2, and Quintos, a bit of back wheel spin, and Francis Angelo Gonzalez forces his way through the gap, and it's the Filipino Francis Angelo Gonzalez who has the lead. Bernard Chan tries to respond instantly and has got the right line going into the right-hander and is able to just sneak in front before corner 3 and 4. So it's Bernard Chan leads from Francis Angelo Gonzalez.
Wow, so very good start there. These guys are battling in bronze and they're battling in silver now as well. They're at the front. We've got some very fast drivers who'll be coming up behind them very closely.
As Mohamed Zihni is in P13, he said, just trying to avoid the problems and be as calm as he can. He's got Chris Matthews behind him, Mohammed Khalif in front of him. But this is a long way to go from P13 if you're chasing more points. He had 25 points, but not the fastest lap in race 1. Fastest lap in race 1 was Gav Quintos, who's got off to P4 at the moment. He's dropped a couple of places since his from the starting grid, Alex.
Yeah, there he is, looking very relaxed. He's got his supporters in the back who's looking equally relaxed. But let's see if he can maintain this position. P4 is very good for Gav Quintos. But yeah, I'm not sure if he's got the pace today to stay there.
Well, there he is in P4. He's leading that glut. To tell you what, though, the 3 ahead of them, Bernard Chan is leading Francis Angelo Gonzalez and Mark Voltaire-Elman. Now, Voltaire-Elman has had a race victory in a reverse grid race already this season, so he is pretty quick. But the BMWs are 1 and 3 ammo. Alex.
Yeah, that's good to see the BMWs up there. It's not just normally it's always Mercedes, but BMW showing their pace. But Bernard, yeah, doing a good job there, keeping nice and calm. He hasn't led a silver reverse grid race before, but he's not won in silver. Another one of these up-and-coming drivers doing very well. But look at that, Gonzalez has the DRS. Oh, almost has a moment there, but is going to go back, and he does overtake him and uses the DRS to slingshot into the lead.
Francis Angelo Gonzalez is the new race winner. It's been quite a good day for him. He won a double in the bronze category that preceded this race. Now he's leading race 2 in the silver category. That would be a unique treble as far as I'm concerned. Can't recall too many people doing that. So Francis Angelo, he keeps the smile off the face today. He's got a nifty new haircut as well to celebrate.
I think we have had one driver do that before. He won in copper, and then the same day he did bronze, and he won a bronze race. I think it was...
We'll check back through the archives, and we'll post that on Facebook, and that's worth noting if Gonzalez actually goes on to win this race. Bit of a long way to go. Don't call it with 12 minutes to go, Alex.
Absolutely, 12 minutes to go. Still plenty of time, and some quick drivers. But back in the middle, Shazliezhan is up to P8, but not making any progress right now. You see this gaggle of cars. It must be so hard to overtake at the moment. Ooh, the Shazliezhan looks to go down the inside of Darren Ivan. Not working at that point. Let's see who else we can ride on board. Let's ride on Daniel Martin's doing a good job there. He's up to P4 as well.
But is he holding everybody up? Because Dan Martin just had a 1:51 last lap, which isn't the quickest. Obviously, there's a lot that goes on, but lap 2 should be around about your his last lap was 1:44 that he's just done, so his pace has increased quite considerably. He's the second of the Mercedes. Angelo Gonzalez feeling the pressure from Bernard Chan again. Voltaire, Elman, Martin and Quintos into P5. Justin Hung in P6.
Yeah.
Justin's doing well. He's in too many of them wearing these, driving these pink Mercedes.
Yeah.
We need to get some kind of differentiation between them.
Oh, big spin. Who was that?
That is
Gav Quintos.
Nur Shaz. Oh, it is Gav Quintos.
Gav Quintos, bad boy. Oh, and then he hit someone coming back. Who was that he hit? Oh, that's Alex Chiao, just minding his own business.
So Gav Quintos, that could well be him spinning out.
Race is done, I think.
Yeah, back into the pits for him. Not a good time.
Yeah, he's not happy. Oh, well. Oh, he's well, he knows that's part of the business.
Up at the front, another Filipino is also having a tough time because Bernard Chan has just retaken the lead with 1/3 of this 15-minute race gone. But then Angelo Gonzalez tries to work through on the inside. Bernard Chan leading the way. Mark Voltaire Elmer making a good day for Philippines at the moment. A P2 and a P3. Ooh. But Justin Hung has got himself up into P4 ahead of Dan Martin. Good work from Justin Hung.
Very good work indeed. So he's been able to get his way out of that gaggle of cars because he got other people like Ivan and Shazliezhan and Jun Cheng still stuck in 7, 8, 9 positions. So Justin Hung, great job to clear him. So obviously had some good racecraft there, and he might be able to get into the battle for the lead.
There is Nur Shazliezhan trying to come through. He's got Unjun Cheng right behind him. They were so close in race number 1 where they were P2 and P3. Here they're down in P8 and 9. They'd like to get up further because only the top 10 score points, and picking up a point here and there doesn't really help you if you're in a championship battle.
Yeah, so he's got the DRS, but I'm surprised he's not being able to make much progress. Maybe he's just trying to be a bit careful. I mean, he is the championship leader. He's got a good lead, and the last thing he needs is to get knocked off like Gav Quintos and end up not finishing the race.
How about Mohamed Zihni, the winner of race 1? That's Mohamed Khalif. Mohamed Zihni is just a little bit ahead of him. There is Zihni. Zihni is in P10, so it doesn't look like it's going to be a win double for Zihni. And as you can see, there's a lot of races to get through there, and it's really tight. The DRS hasn't quite worked on Watkins Glen as we anticipated.
No, you have to be clever with it. Zihni's using DRS now, but he's just, maybe he's just got a hangover race 1. They just release the pressure of winning that race 1 is just affecting his performance here in race 2. But I don't want to call it too soon. I think he might have had an issue off camera. Still a long way to go.
Ryan Keith has barged his way through to P4 ahead of Dan Martin. Mark Voltaire Elman is dropping down the rankings. He's now in P6. He's been taken by Justin Hung, Ryan Keith and Dan Martin. So the red and white shell of Mark Voltaire Elman going backwards, Alex. It's not looking good for the Filipino.
No. But there he is right now. Yeah, so, he's not having a good race. There he is in the Shell BMW. Oh, he's going to go even further back if he's not careful. His run was wide, and then he has this moment there as well. Yeah, tricky race for Elman today.
From P3 to P10, not a good lap.
Yeah.
Francis Angelo Gonzalez, though, leads the way from Bernard Chan, and joining them now is Justin Hung. Chan, the new race leader, uses the DRS, but look at this. Justin Hung has joined the front two, Alex Young.
Yeah, it's definitely a three-way fight now. And look at Justin Hung, his cockpit view. Ooh, so he comes through the outer loop corner right now, and then they leave the outer loop corner and they go into the chute. And got to say, with Hung's pace, we've seen him this year in silver. Oh, big bang there. Pace, other than, of course, when he doesn't hit cars, he's got to be the favourite out of these 3.
He got a P6 in race 1 last week. That's his best performance of the season. But we do commentate on him quite a lot towards the front end of races. Maybe just doesn't get the results that he deserves. But here he is in P3, putting the pressure on Bernard Chan in the white BMW.
That's why he's not at the front sometimes. He's got the pace, but he makes mistakes like that. And there he goes. He goes from challenging the leaders to losing touch, and now back into 4th position.
And Ryan Keith is the man just to snap up that potential moment. So Bernard Chan is leading the way. We are more than halfway through this race, and Bernard Chan is making a bid to try and break the DRS, try to get away from Francis Angelo Gonzalez. He will not do it on this lap though, but he made a real effort over turns 10 and 11, Alex.
Yeah. And he finished 2nd in silver in the previous round, so could be this the race that he actually wins his first race.
I think he won reverse grid last week.
He finished 2nd, I think. Darren Ivan won.
Okay. We'll check that. That's just memory. My dodgy memory, don't trust it at all. But Bernard Chan is definitely leading this race. Francis Angelo Gonzalez got the DRS. And we are about to see what I believe is the 7th change of lead between these two alone. And they pulled away from Justin Hung and Ryan Keith. Justin's got himself back into P3 ahead of Ryan Keith, but they've lost touch with the front two, Alex.
Yeah, so Bernard was clever there. He didn't fight Francis when Francis overtook, so they didn't lose much time. And that was clever because that means that they have a nice gap to Hung in 3rd position. So, you got to have the bigger picture things sometimes and think about trying to keep that gap so there's only 2 of you fighting instead of fighting now and then you have a 4-car train having to fight for the win.
That's looking backwards towards Justin Hung, who's in P3. Justin is trying to hold off Ryan Keith in the blue Mercedes. The BMWs have dropped right off Mark. Voltaire Elmer must have had a puncture or something because he's now down in P11. Angelo Gonzalez still leading the way. Nur Shazliezhan, Alex, got himself up into P5. Good progress.
Yeah, good progress by him indeed. And just checking at the records there, Des, and you were correct. Bernard Chan did win the reverse grid race at the previous round in Hockenheim. So this, if he can hold on to this will be his 2nd silver class win.
They are beautiful words you just said, Alex. But Nur Shazliezhan is in P5. Mohammed Zihni as well, also making a move. Zihni, winner of race number 1, is now up into P5 in race 2. That's terrific progress in the last 2 laps.
Yeah, great job by Zihni. And he's got the DRS. So, we were talking about it earlier on. He was a little bit off the gag of cars, but he's kept cool and he's produced some stunning lap times. I think he might have the fastest lap of the race, actually. It's tied between him and Justin Hung. And now he's up into 5th position.
Up at the front, Chan and Francis Angelo Gonzalez. They have been caught by Ryan Keith and Justin Hung. So Keith has overtaken Hung and he's been able to pull in. So it is a 4-man race for the victory. 3:43 to go. What have we got? This lap and 2 more, I suspect.
Oh, good. I wish there were more laps because you can see some of the other cars behind are catching this guy.
Zini's closing. Zini's closing in the grey.
He is. Zini's showing some real pace here. So out of these 4, it's going to be really difficult to call. I think Hung might be the quickest of the 4, but he's a little bit fragile at the moment, making a lot of mistakes at the key moments. Ryan Keith, can he have a good race? We know how quick Keith is, and Keith is going down the inside of Gonzalez, the 2 blue cars, but now Keith's on the outside for this left-hander, so it's going to be really hard for him to go around the outside of Gonzalez, but they got to be careful. This squabbling means that they're going to lose touch with Bernard Chan.
Now, what's happened to the race leader? Race leader.
He's still there.
Oh, Bernard Chan is there. He is there. Yes, sorry, my apologies. I thought it was Zihni. Zihni's in 5. I'm thinking back to the other race.
Yeah,
so Bernard Chan is leading the way. Oh, he just didn't break the DRS, but he pulled nearly a second clear. 2 more full laps. 2 laps to go for Bernard Chan. But the 4 behind him, they have all got DRS.
They all got DRS, and they'll be closing. Look, they all got DRS. Oh, it's a train of cars right now. Yes, that's right on board. Zini's just watching these cars. Topping out in top gear as well.
They come around the inner loop, through to the outer loop, and they've closed in on Bernard Chan. And the new race leader is Ryan Keith. For the very first time, the Singaporean takes the lead in this race. And has he timed it just right? Or has he gone a little bit early? Also coming through, Francis Angelo Gonzalez knocks Bernard Chan out the way. Justin Hung is there and Zihni is right there. Nur Shazliezhan not too far away in P6. What a finale this is going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be very close indeed. So hopefully, Ryan Keith looks really good. This could be a key break right now. He'll have one more DRS after this. Oh, look down the inside there. Hung down the inside of Bernard Chan. So Bernard Chan has started this race, this lap leading.
And Zihni goes into P4 inside Bernard Chan. Chan now to P6.
So, wow.
For a moment. Then P5. And Jun Cheng is in there and Darren Ivan's in there. This is terrific.
Oh, we got a 9-way fight for the lead, Des.
But Ryan Keith is leading the way. Will he be able to have 1 second lead? The answer is, so close, but no.
Yes.
Is he? Yes, he has. He's broken the DRS, Ryan Keith.
Wow, he saved 1 DRS for the start-finish straight, and he used it. And you're right, he was just, as he crossed the line, got over a second. So he's safe at the moment, because the car behind him, Gonzalez, in the second blue car, does not have DRS, and it's going to be hard for the others to close in on him.
So Gonzalez is the man to be picked off, and Mohamed Zihni now through into P2. What a race from Zihni as Justin Hung also goes past Francis Angelo Gonzalez as he hits the curb hard. Gonzalez takes the shortcut. Oh, we can't do that. And so Justin Hung may well be able to take P3. But Mohamed Zihni, Alex, is in P2 and has DRS.
Wow, what a great drive by the Singaporean. Is it over? Look at that. He's only 6/10 over. Behind the leader at the moment.
Surely too far behind. Francis Angelo Gonzalez being snaffled up by Nur Shazliezhan. Nur Shazliezhan is now up into P3, the championship leader. And Justin Hung is there, and Jun Cheng is there as well. But at the front, Keith's lead. Oh, it's this close. We are coming to the final stages. We're coming down to the boot, aren't we? And the boot will decide who is going to take this race, Zihni or Ryan Keith. Zihni right on the tail, has got DRS, makes the move on the inside. Keith defends, Alex.
1 more corner to go. I can't call it, Des, but Zihni, they're looking nice and calm as they go through the last corner.
Ryan Keith from Singapore holds off a terrific challenge from Mohamed Zihni. Nur Shazliezhan in P3. Well, we're on board there with Zihni. He can't be disappointed with that performance, but in many ways he may well be. Keith takes the victory. Zihni second. Nur Shazliezhan a very good third ahead of Francis Angelo Gonzalez. Bernard Chan will be desperately disappointed to finish as low as 6th. But credit, Alex Young, to Ryan Keith.
Yes, absolutely. But great job by Ryan Keith, but we don't have him on Zoom at the moment. But maybe we can talk to Zihni.
Well, there is Zihni. Somewhere.
Somewhere.
Come back to us, guys. Come back to us.
Yeah, we'll go to the
Great race.
Yeah, great race.
Terrific race as they disappear into the ether. But Zihni came from absolutely nowhere. Now he appears like magic, a little bit like in the racer. Zihni, fabulous race because we charted you from P14 right the way up to P2.
Can you hear us, Zihni? So we're just trying to get him. We're not. Oh. Yeah, we lost him in the moment. Not sure we're going to get him. I'd love to hear from him, though, because he went from the very back all the way up to P2, was super, super calm. But yeah, I think we're going to miss him, unfortunately. Never mind. A first and a second for Zihni. That was a great silver race.
And Ryan Keith as well, and let's not forget him because he was dicing in P3 at the moment. He timed it superbly, took the lead for the first time with 2 laps to go, and then broke the DRS, and then was able to hold off Mohamed Zihni to take the victory, his first Silver Edition victory of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, that's the silver class done. So we are going to go to the gold class now.
Confirmation of Ryan Keith taking Zihni with the fastest lap. That will help Zihni in the rankings. But Nur Shazliezhan, a P3 for him, a solid day at the office. He'll maintain the lead. Now, though, the Silver Edition is done and dusted. And after the break, we are going for gold.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.